Another Star Wars video where I have to talk about some bad news. This should go great. Join our fast-growing community of nerds and have your voice become a part of the content by participating in our polls and Q&As. Oh, and subscribing helps. Number one, I want to talk about these reports about Star Wars losing money due to a fiscal report out there from Disney. What's the truth of that and how bad is it? And I also want to discuss the Vader fan film. Did Disney really copy strike Star Wars theory? But first, I want to say, I know some people don't like when I do videos like this, but there's a bunch of buttholes on the internet that take all the shots at Disney that they possibly can, and they put a lot of information out there. There's also a bunch of people that, some people call shills, who are so mad at the people that are buttholes that they can't possibly face reality and talk about what's happening with Star Wars in an honest way. Both groups of these people suck totally, and it's really hard to get the truth out there to people that are actual Star Wars fans. Luckily, I've got a good mix of people that like The Last Jedi and a good bit of people that don't like The Last Jedi on this channel, so I wanted to talk to you guys about this. And so, this all comes from a report on Cosmic Book News talking about a fiscal report from Disney that is talking about how Star Wars is losing money. Now, there's a lot of information in this article, a lot of stuff all over this page, and if you're not careful and you don't read it all, you might just get this impression that, yeah, like Star Wars is just losing oodles of money and it's really bad. I mean, a 17% change from 2016 to 2018, that's really rough. And let me just say that this isn't good news. It's not like I can look at what was in this report and say, oh, no, this article is totally wrong. This is actually good for Star Wars. I can't say that. It is bad, but it's not even close to as bad as some people are making it out to be. For one, this all comes from the Disney Consumer Products division, which is the only division at Disney to lose money last fiscal year. There's a lot of different percentages thrown out here, different sections of this division losing different percentages of money from year to year, and there's only one or two that can be directly blamed on Star Wars. One is retail, and they do say that this has a lot to do with Star Wars phasing out not being bought as much as retail items, which, to be fair, is kind of weird in a fiscal year where you had two big Star Wars movies. Star Wars is almost certainly to blame for the drop-off in comic book sales and the publishing sales, but that's actually a really small percentage of the overall loss that is Disney consumer product loss. There's a big percentage of drop-off in video game stuff, and that does have a lot to do with Star Wars, but this actually has a lot to do with the licensing changing for Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2. As they get further away from the launch dates, the license costs less money for EA to be doing, and Disney gets a little bit of less. And both Battlefront games were met with a lot of controversy, and sales were majorly down for Battlefront 2. Now, my honest opinion on all of this is that it's really more of a self-correcting because of how hype things were around 2015, 2016, when Star Wars was just coming back and just was all the rage. The numbers were inflated. I mean, look at the comic books. There were so many Star Wars comic books coming out back then, and they have dropped off significantly. Way less titles coming out there, even though a lot of them are still really, really good. So it's more of a normal correction for this division, but I will say that by having a huge episodic film, The Last Jedi, in that fiscal year and still having this kind of a drop is a bad sign. So it's a bad sign, but I think everyone at Lucasfilm is aware of this. They see what's going on with the fan base right now. And if you're one of those fans that's like, I don't get it. What's the big deal? This is just a vocal minority. I would say you're probably more wrong than you think, although some of that might be true. That kind of sounds like fence sitting. The bottom line is you're wrong if you think that, to be honest with you. If you are one of those people that think that this is all just a made-up drama, that it's not real, that there's no Star Wars fans that are actually that upset with Star Wars, you're wrong. The brand is in trouble, but I think that most reasonable people understand that and have faith that Disney will correct itself. So that's the story. Loss, it's bad. It does point to a problem with Star Wars, but it's not even close to as the sky is falling type of news that a lot of buttholes are presenting out there online. Star Wars is not really losing money, and this division losing money isn't even majorly Star Wars' fault. And so that's basically what's going on in Star Wars. It's a crazy time right now. Things are shaky, but I honestly believe that things will turn around. People at Disney and Lucasfilm are aware of what's going on, and they're going to fix it. But that's the news out there, guys. Star Wars technically lost a little money last year in the merchandising side of things, but it's not the sky falling as some people would have you believe. Disney definitely didn't copy strike the Vader fan film, but they're still kind of to blame because they won't just come out and say they didn't do it and say that they like that movie. It's kind of weird. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. That's going to do it for this one, but before we get out of here, let's check that nerd card. I want to know who scored Solo: A Star Wars Story. It was not John Williams, it was another person. It's kind of a cool story behind that as well. Who was that scored Solo: A Star Wars Story? Answer that question in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next